right, let's talk about the snatch grip deadlift. So this is another variation of the deadlift. The difference here is you're going to really hit the low body posterior chain a little bit harder. It uses a little bit less low back. It does take a little more upper body bracing because of your hand position, and grip is much more challenging because of that also wide snatch grip hand position. So reps are appropriate at any point that you need them. We don't want to have our grip as a limiting factor because we do so much other grip work. We're not super concerned about our grip being weak. You probably won't have a problem with grip, but if you do, wraps are totally appropriate. Now, we are starting in a wider position, which is going to start us lower to the floor. So when our hands are nice and wide, our hips are also going to be lower, almost like a deficit. So we do need to get very, very tight. We do want to pinch those armpits and engage the lat, because now we don't have that tight upper back. We need to create that tightness because we're in such a wide position. So we do want to pinch our armpits, making sure we don't need to pull our lats back, but we want to make sure that they're activated and tight before we initiate this lift. And we're not going to use as much pulling through the upper body as we would with a conventional deadlift. It is a lot of hip drive with this exercise. So let's kind of break this one down. Once again, this is programmed in your advanced training program. So at this point, you should have already a very strong deadlift base, as well as you should almost have this exercise down pretty well just due to the technical practice that you've had by getting to this strength phase. So I'm not going to break this one down as much because you should already know how to deadlift by this point, but let's kind of talk about some of the differences with the snatch grip versus the conventional deadlift. First one is we're gripping wide outside the rings usually, or basically in a snatch position. We don't want to be narrow, so we do want to be nice and wide. Like I said, that exposes some weakness in the grip, so if you need to use those wraps, go ahead. Now from here, I need to get my hips nice and low so I can fall back. Once I get in this position, I don't want my arms in this position, but I want to rotate my elbows toward my body and get my lats engaged. So just think about pinching your armpits. And from here, I want to get as tight as I can. And then the same mechanics apply in the sense that I initiate the lift through my feet and then immediately drive through my hips. Now what you're going to feel with this one is that you can't get as much back drive, and that it almost feels like it's all hips. And there's a reason for this. It's just because of the bar position. With our hands, we want to emphasize the posterior low body a little more, because at this phase, that's going to be beneficial for you on the mat, having that just strong posterior low body. So let's kind of talk about this as we go through. We get tight, we're pinching the pits, we're creating tension on the bar. I initiate through my feet, I start driving the bar up. From here, I'm pushing through my hips, and I finish the lift. Unlike a conventional where I can use my back to create that lever, I'm going to have to really push through my hips for the entire range of motion. So I get in position, and as you can see, I can't, because of where my arms are located, I can't really use my back as much. So you really need to focus on getting as tight as you can. Once you drive your feet through the floor, really driving your hips hard through this.